Hi everyone. This is from my students of architecture. Others can kind of scroll down. Maybe you can hit a like. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you see, I had been practicing as an architect for the past 2 decades across India and abroad. With my hands on experience in designing numerous projects, I've gained some real life insight which I keep sharing with my students of architecture. Well, today, let's talk about some 10 key principles about cyclone resistant architecture. Well, we have possibly seen the worst. We have just witnessed the devastation by a powerful cyclone called Amphan, which has killed hundreds of people across India and Bangladesh. Amphan made landfall on the 20th of May, lashing coastal areas with ferocious wind and rain. Thousands of trees were uprooted, electricity and telephone lines brought down, vehicles, urban structures, and houses flattened. Most roads were flooded, and millions of people stranded without power and mobile networks. I had published a very detailed article on this particular topic. Go back to my page and check it out sometime. We have seen the conjunction of dual disasters, COVID-19 and the cyclone Amphan, and with the challenging recovery efforts facing administrators could be seen across many residential lanes and alleys across villages and cities. I kept wondering, what could we have possibly done in order to handle such crisis? A big question to be answered. While researching about the nature and feature of this particular crisis, I have put together my 10 key principles of cyclone-resistant architecture. Let me quickly go through them. Students of architecture can take a note of this. Yeah? Point number 1, choose the location carefully to avoid the full force of the wind or flood. Location is of utmost importance. What do I mean? Look at the sketch that is there for you. Point number 2, use building layout with a simple, regular geometrical shape to avoid concentration of pressure on the particular structure. Simple geometric shapes are more calamity resistant than complex shapes. Remember that. How simple was the design of a pyramid, which has sustained the test of time with several hundreds and thousands of years? Think about it. Simplicity is the key to success. Have a look at the sketch. Point number 3, technical point, build the roof of your structure at an angle 30 to 45 degrees to prevent it from being lifted up by the winds. Yeah, wind velocity can be tremendous. The Amphan had over 200 km per hour of speed, winds blowing at such speed with torrential rains. I mean, can you ever imagine that? So 30 degrees to 45 degrees is your best bet. Here's the key for you. Point number 4, avoid wide roof overhangs. Separate the veranda structure from the main house. So veranda structure will shield your main house. It's a very predominant kind of a vernacular design. I have been teaching my students in this part of Southeast Asia for long. This kind of a structure is successful, it is time tested, and it is replicable. Go for it. So take a note of this particular sketch that I'm going to show you. Point number 5, make sure the foundations, the walls, the roof of your structure are all firmly fixed together. Structural stability must be ensured. Go and refer to some civil engineering consultant who can help you out. The building has to be firmly anchored to the ground and held together by strong structural members. steel ropes or wire ropes or whatsoever, by whatever means may be, tie your structure. Look at this particular sketch. Point number 6. Reinforce the bracing in the structure. Strengthen the walls, joints, junctions to increase the stiffness. Stiffness is very, very important for a particular structure. Bracings have to be strengthened. Joints and junctions have to be completely sound. What do I mean? Have a look at this sketch. Point number 7. Make sure the roof covering is firmly attached to the roof structure. So you have the roof covering and the roof structure below. So let it firmly be attached to prevent it from lifting by the winds. Attach it with whatever, with steel ropes or wire ropes or whatever ropes you have. Don't let the roof cover fly away. We have seen a lot of it happen with the recent cyclone that was there. So there is a sketch for you to understand. Point number 8. If doors and shutters cannot be shut, make sure there is an opposing opening on the other side to reduce the pressure. There should not be any negative pressure built up within the structure itself. Suction effect of the cyclone has to be avoided at all costs. You know what I mean? Look at this particular sketch. Point number 9, very important. Use doors and shutters of windows that can be closed. Yes, I mean, what's the point of having doors and shutters which cannot be closed from? I know low-cost dwellers would have difficulty in meeting ends, but this is important. I mean, better safe than sorry. Yeah, we have lost a lot of lives recently, so go for it. Have a look at this sketch. Finally, point number 10. I had been preaching this for like decades now. Plant trees around your house as windbreaks and reduce the flow of wind or flow of rainwater, but not too close. Yeah. You can never ignore the importance of planting trees, how important they are and how many are their unique importances are in a construction scenario. Windshield, this is another one. Apart from generating oxygen, inducing precipitation, reducing global warming and all, taken out of this particular sketch. In short, the cyclone-resistant house should be feasible with the simultaneous implementation of a community-approved tree plantation system, preservation treatment of all components of building materials and following recommendations for technology input in construction techniques, structural solutions, and an overarchingly innovative strategy of an intelligent architectural intervention. I have been saying this again and again. I love a very famous saying by Arthur C. Clarke, and I quote, "The only way to discover the limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible." Having said all of that, I strongly believe that there's a lot to learn, and an architect will always be a student, constantly learning. Let me know your thoughts, your ideas on this particular topic. Comment in the box below. I'll get back to you. See you.